basically how that works. So the other thing I like to mention too is, just to give you a little analogy, has anyone ever fallen through the ice? Yeah, Clint has fallen through the ice. If you were to fall through the ice and you fall in the cold water, immediately what's going to happen is your body's going to draw the heat and energy in to keep the core organs warm. And you know, the bad part about that is you might lose fingers and toes and hands and feet, but as far as your body's concerned, it wants to keep you alive. So it always protects the most vital things first. And it just so happens that the heart, the liver, and all those things are more vital. So just in the same line as that concept, if your body has a certain amount of energy that it's using to hold up the arm, if we then are placing pressure on an organ that's suffering already, the body says, oh my God, we got to deal with that now, and this is not as important, and that's why the muscle will go weak. And there's a little more to the explanation of how that works, but not something I want to get into tonight. So then the other thing I want to mention is the supplements that we use. So I'm not first aware of this, but everything has energy. You have energy, this wall has energy, the table has energy, the sun has energy. The sun is, what is it, 93 million miles away? And in the daytime when the sun shines through the window, you can feel its energy, right? Everyone's experienced that, I'm sure, even though it's that far away. So this little bottle of supplements also has energy. And the energy in this bottle only travels about 2 feet. It doesn't travel 93 million miles. But when we put that bottle against you, its energy will affect your body's energy, and that's how we'll know whether or not it's going to help us. So again, that muscle test, the muscle's weak. If we put a supplement that's going to help that particular organ or that particular thing going on, then the muscle will go strong. Okay? That's how that works. So, design clinical nutrition, what's that? Anyone? No? So what I said before is basically the same thing. If you look around, you can see that we're all a little different, aren't we? So it's unlikely that the same nutritional program, protocol, or same nutritional supplements are going to be what you need as what you need is what you need. So with nutrition response testing, what we can do is actually find out exactly what products you need. Are they going to help? How much are they going to help? How many of them do you need? Do you need 1 a day? Do you need 3 a day? Do you need 6 a day? Whatever it is. And also, over a period of time, is that going to change? In other words, if you have one supplement that you need, is it going to be the same supplement that you need for the rest of your life? Probably not. As your body changes, as your diet maybe changes, you might need different supplements. So we call that design clinical nutrition, and it's basically like a custom-made tailor suit for every individual. Okay? So I want to talk a little bit about the goals of clinical nutrition. Again, I mentioned this earlier. In medicine, the basic goal is to remove symptoms or suppress symptoms. So you go in, you have a particular headache or whatever it is, you take this medication and the headache goes away. Or so you think. At least you don't feel the headache anymore. So with clinical nutrition, we want to improve the overall health. We want to look at the whole body, how it's functioning, not only to make the symptom go away, but to make sure that the organs and the glands and the whole body is functioning the best that it can. And in some sense, when you have a symptom, you can think of it as a good thing because it's giving you an indication that there's malfunction in the body. If you didn't have that symptom, you wouldn't even know to look there. So anytime somebody comes in with a symptom, I say, great, we can now find out what part of your body needs help. And the other thing is with the type of supplements we use, we're using whole food supplements, which I'll talk a little bit more about in a moment. We want to rebuild the foundation of your body. So take, for instance, if you have a house and the house starts to rot. So it starts to rot and you look and you can see it bubbling up the paint. One option would be to go to scrape off the paint and get a new gallon of paint and just paint it over and it looks like it did before, right? No, would anyone actually do that? Actually, people probably do that. But you have to realize that the board underneath is still rotting. Okay? So a lot of times when we take a medication, that's what we're doing. We're just slapping an extra coat of paint on it so that we don't see the symptom of the fact that this house or this body is actually rotting. Okay? And what we want to do with our clinical nutrition and our whole food supplements is actually put in place the genuine replacement parts. So the liver has particular nutrients that it needs to build new liver cells, as does the thyroid gland and as does all the other glands, the heart. And so again, when we find out what's going on or what organs or glands need help, then we can give it exactly the right nutrition that will help rebuild those glands and organs and not just temporarily change the function. So as I mentioned, we use whole food supplements mostly from a company called Standard Process. And Standard Process was developed by Dr. Royal Lee. And I don't know if you've heard of Dr. Royal Lee, but he was actually a dentist. And way back in the 20s, he went to the other dentists and said, hey guys, nutrition is a factor in tooth decay. And of course, they laughed him out of the dentist meeting. They thought he was crazy. So he said, fine, and he went and started to develop, the first thing he developed was their a whole food multivitamin, actually, which they still sell today, called Catalin. And then from there, he began to develop these other things. And it's great. What's great about using whole food supplements is that they're safe for anybody because they're just food in a concentrated way. Sometimes we use herbs and things like that, but they're not always safe for everybody. People who are pregnant or people who are on medications can't use herbs, but whole food is safe for everyone. So Dr. Royal Lee, he developed these supplements, and if I haven't been to the farm, but I've heard from other colleagues of mine who have gone, they have a 1,000-acre farm, and they grow almost all of their own stuff and the very high quality products, which, I don't know if you know this, most of the supplements, quote unquote, or vitamins that you get in a whole food store are actually made in a lab. They're not actually real food. So your body doesn't really recognize them, and in the long run, they can actually cause you more problems. There was an article in Reader's Digest, maybe not this past spring, but the spring before, that talked about supplements and how most of them were just worthless. And that is true to a certain extent if you're looking at synthetic lab-made supplements, which, by the way, are produced by the pharmaceutical companies. Most people don't know that. They have these nice Sun Farms or whatever the label they have, but they're really just made by the pharmaceutical companies. Okay? Your health is in your hands. If you've got particular problems, I noticed some of you circled a number of different things on your form that you have going on. If you're interested in getting those taken care of, we first want to determine if you are a nutrition response testing case. If you're not a nutrition response testing case, we would tell you right away, you know, we don't think this will work for you. But if you are, again, in the 16 years I've been in business, I've not seen anything work as well, as quickly, and as directly of what people have going on. So it's really a fabulous method. So if you are interested, we're going to do a free initial screening tonight, meaning you can just, we won't go through a whole evaluation, but we can just go through a little, and I can test you out and see what shows up. And if you want to go further, we'll actually offer you a free full evaluation, and you can go through that, and there's no obligation to that. But if you want to find out actually what's going on in your body, we can do that. If you go with the idea that ignorance is bliss, then you don't want to know, then you wouldn't want to do this, because we'll be able to tell you exactly what's going on. Okay? So, who here has a desire to have a better life? All the hands. Great. Okay. Well, these are some of the other services we have at our center. I mentioned some of the things initially that we do: network spinal analysis, somatorespiratory integration, nutrition response testing we just went into, massage therapy, acupuncture, reflexology, and Reiki currently. So I want to thank you for your attention. If anyone has any questions, I'm certainly happy to stick around and answer them. Thank you.